So you know when people tell you by choosing your dreams, you're gonna lose people close to you, people believing in you who have believed in you before. You're gonna lose respect from some people who expected different. Yeah. I don't think I'll ever disappoint the cat. She might be the last one to stay by my side. Even though I'm not very sure with that because she or he is basically a he, but I always refer to him as a she. I don't know why. He is still basically a cat, so you never know with cats. It's close to midnight, the 1st of April, and I decided to shoot this because I've hit quite a deep low. Very unexpected low. Realizing I did do some shit with the whole decision to just stop my studies unannounced, telling nobody, and doing that on a whim just at New Year, and it's now been 4 months, and teaching myself through YouTube and struggling still with procrastination, or I don't know, feeling like I simply do not progress as much as I want to, and I should, and just feeling a big series, trainloads of doubts bashing me to the ground right now. Today has been pretty bad. My mom was here, meeting with my grandparents, because it's the Friday before Easter. You know, where it's not Easter time yet. Easter will be on Sunday. Couldn't see my friends. Won't be able to see them. I think I won't be able to go somewhere I plan to go the next few weeks. I would have loved to go to a place a little bit away from here, do short film, camera, film related projects with my best friend, going over to his place. I don't think I'll be able to do that simply because I still didn't and cannot tell my grandparents or my parents that I abandoned this degree. It's reaching a stupid level, a level of dumb stupidity. In the sense that I feel like an utter liar. And I never want to be in this situation again in my life. Always be honest. Always tell people right away with maybe not right away. Always think things through over the night or two, but never over several weeks or months. Because you get deeper and deeper down a rabbit hole until you hit rock bottom, and I think this might not be the deepest rock bottom for me to hit yet, but it is one. There are several rock bottoms. Like, I imagine this could be a rock bottom right now, but I'm certain there's going to be even worse rock bottoms, so there's going to be some of them. It feels terrible, because I think the main argument is that I just realize I'm 20 already, and I'm starting my life again, realizing I probably won't be able to do any sort of real job or be really good at something until maybe being 30, because I'll still have to prepare and work on a portfolio. Then I'll probably need to get some work experience, internship, before I can even apply to any of these art schools. And then these probably take me 4 to 5 years, depending on the school, which will make me probably need 7 or 8 years altogether, if not more. Just the worst is, as I keep on not telling them, either my grandparents or my parents, they come with these terrible arguments like, I've already been doing my studies for 2 years and I just have supposedly this one more year to do to accomplish this. And you better finish it, pull it through, because nothing's worse than showing something you abandoned. You couldn't push through in your, how do you call it, not a CV, you call it a resume. If you on your resume show that you had to, couldn't push through something and bring it to an end, come to a close, fully with a diploma, it would be simply these 2 years I've done so much completely lost. And it's just not a good time to tell that to me. That's what they did today. Still believing that I wouldn't have to worry about that because I, of course, am studying, and I will do that third year, so I don't have to worry about that. Well, deeply here, it sinks badly. It sinks badly into it shakes my deepest core when I heard it. That it would be a problem if you stopped because you'll have 2 years already. But since you will continue, and we trust that you will, we trust that you are continuing and working, you won't run into that trouble. Which deep down I know I will because I have stopped. I have abandoned this. I cannot get back to my studies. Today is the first time in these now 4 months I wished I could go back. The first time I thought about it. Maybe it's a good sign because it's been 4 months after all, where I really did never want even to think about going back to these studies. Today I thought about it for the first time. Why did I do this? Do I have to regret this? Where the hell am I going in my life? I feel now like I'm definitely going to be useless. A very low point that I just hit. And I'm lying in my bed, which is very rarely the case. I never really do that where I'm lying in my bed, just watching videos with my phone. And, in so doing, realizing why not make a video about it? Because I've hit this low point and I tried to animate actually today. Now I could do some kind of storyboard for 3 shots. That was everything. Better than nothing, for sure, but I feel like I do not progress fast enough. I'm not going to be able to make it. And I feel like I'm not going to be accepted into that film school either, just because it seems so rude, so harsh the conditions to be able to get inside and enter it. Which is the same for girls. Not that good about entering that realm either. So, a failure in every way. Don't go through your life lying. It's the worst you can do. Never set that up for several months. Destroys you slowly. Don't do that. And all that just because I chose business at university after my diploma in high school. I chose to do that. Biggest mistake ever. Because of what it got me into. Because I'm not independent. I disappointed someone last night. Someone I didn't tell you about yet. It affected me the whole day because I was being a terrible person. It has to do with the whole change now in, stopping the studies I did so far and pursuing the creative dreams. Which turns out to be a nightmare sometimes, at least today. The first time it was not dreams. Today was a nightmare. Suddenly realizing maybe I am simply too bad after all. Because I don't have any specific... I don't even... I did animation in earlier times. But just not enough. I don't have real animations to show in my portfolio. I thought I was going somewhere with this by deciding I would take a video just to... I hope it's not going to be a video I'm just going to leave out again and pretend I didn't record it and forget about it. I watched videos of DSLR. I was watching a video of DSLR guide about how he does a short film, and I'm burning to do a short film project now. I learned about blocking, storyboarding, composition, much more about the nitty-gritty of a film project and a set and what it takes with the crew. You know, sound I've done 2 weeks ago. I did some orders on Amazon that Amazon themselves, with my account, wouldn't take anymore. Amazon completely blocked me out, so I had to ask my best friend to order through his account, actually, which he was nice enough to, grant me permission to use his account, which saved me so I could order these packages. But now, since he is in Germany and I am located in France, and because we have the border that is now fucking closed in between, I cannot go to his place to pick up these orders. And I thought I could go to his place in hopefully 1 week or two to do some projects with him, not be alone with my film set that I just freshly bought, and that I'm so keen on using. All the stands, all the lenses, the 2 cameras I have now. For what? When can I finally start living and do my thing? How long do I have to be a liar? When is the time to stand up? It feels like it's getting worse and worse. I did try telling my grandparents understood me when I said I tried making friends, but I just can't, because these people are different than what I am me. I am not. I'm not the business guy. I am an artist guy. And that's terrible. Never be an artist guy. Artist guys is the most terrible life you could be given. Who the fuck gave me the destiny of being an artist? I would love to be a computer scientist or a technician. You have no idea how much I wish I could simply get a simple job. Like from the beginning on, nothing like like someone doing in the chemistry field, or even just a peasant. With his dad having been one and teaching his children about it, and so they grow up with it and naturally take on that job and like doing it, and they don't have these problems I have about needing to lie and make your way through like a jungle, needing to assure yourself you actually want to go into art, having to realize you want to go in there, and then still feeling you're not good enough and no one approves of you. And how are you ever going to make money with this anyways? You're doomed to live, alone forever, because you won't be able to afford sustaining a wife or friends, to go out with, or any sort of comfortable lifestyle. Nothing. That is what I'm thinking. That in itself is okay for me. I just wish to have nothing more than this tiny space, like this one is even too big already. Just a room for me to be inside and create, no matter the rest. And a cat. But it is sad when you have to figure out how much rejection you face. That is sad. When you only start learning at the age of 20. I have really started learning drawing at the age of 20. Starting to study books. And not just finding these art inspirations over on social networks like DeviantArt, which I did in the past, which I still do today, but much less. And instead finding real art, like actual professional, experienced senior artists from the industry who wrote books and make videos and courses. These people you learn from, actual teachers. That like going to school, like as if I was going to school. That is when you learn. I didn't. I only just started out, and I now realize how much there is to learn. And it's going to take me a while, and it all adds up to this misery because by that taking a while, you'll need the support, but you won't get any. In fact, you feel how now with the first people you did tell about it, that one person I told her, and it's also my fault. I shut her out. It's a different story. I'm gonna talk to you about eventually, probably. I really wish I had a job. Would make me feel useful. Would make me make some money. I'm running out of money, and I need money. That is terrible. So I'm recording this because this is a first time low in my new pursuit. A real, very real low. That feels very bad. Recording this in my bed, lying in here, just being tired, and kind of wanting to reverse everything. Start anew. Seeing these people being 21 and already in their second year of school, doing amazing with these wonderful backgrounds and animations 5 times more advanced, starting off their Kickstarter project. Okay, that's the very good ones. I need to be that good. But what I offer in return, as a complete beginner, just really seriously learning about all these terms of cinematography that needs to be part of animation and storyboarding, which is also about composition and flow. And all the things I never learned, really. Never started learning. Most of the animation school, I have only 2. I have only 2 animation schools in mind. The one at Ludwigsburg, which might take me 2 years to actually be able to submission. I think it's that, right? An application. There you go. Send the job application. The application to the school. Might be able to send one only in 2 years because I need to have that 1 year of practical experience to prove before I can apply to that school. Apply, that's the word. So I'm going to be 22. And then that will take, assuming I will get in there, which is not very likely either, I'll be 26, 27 years old. Who's going to support me from there on? Because everyone's going to be so disappointed of me. And I already don't have any money anymore because I just spent it on cameras so that I could finally do the dreams thing. And it turns out to be a nightmare. Yay. And the second school is going to be at Denmark, if that's the way you pronounce it. The animation workshop where Sif Savory went to, now creating the series Tale of Zale that I've been an avid, passionate fan of for a long time. And that school really, really appeals to me. At least in these early first impressions I got from it. Of its website, of, the people from the people that were on it. Most notably, Sif Savory herself. And something about Denmark I just think I really like. It seems very like a beautiful country to me. But that being very far away, and then not knowing how to manage to establish a livelihood there. I would need to find a job or something. And then I looked over on the internet and they said, well, in Denmark, First of all, it's not easy finding a job in general, just because they do prefer the local duns, and they don't have much of needs, much lackings, except in the fields of IT, sciences, healthcare, something else, IT, science, healthcare. Mostly these. Not art, not animation, obviously not, never. Not ever would they need these people. So, if is there such a thing as destiny? Because if I seriously got that destiny of being an artist, what kind of sucker, loser, dumb, foolish destiny is that? I just don't know. Are there too many artists or not? Yeah, that's the question. I mean, there are never too many good artists, that's for sure. But it's just the mediocre artist that I am. I just hate that in my life I've never grown up knowing I'm going to be an artist, but I've had to fight so many doubts to come to that conclusion that I am an art person and that I need it. And then realizing I don't have any support. And I've been walking all the way the wrong direction and setting up the very wrong expectations, so that now I have to live my life lying. Ah. So, maybe just gonna show you what I tried to do today, which added to my frustration because I wouldn't progress a lot. But also because I talked to my grandparents for a long while, and I think I could go one step further about trying to convince them this is definitely not for me, and they will have to expect me shutting down towards the end of the semester and not being able to continue. So that's advancing closer. I mean, in June is supposedly the exams I will supposedly take. So I think towards May is going to be a time of more disappointments and terrible feelings and maybe very negative consequences. Yeah. Maybe looking at 2021 as a whole, May is not yet the full first half, not yet the full first half of 2021. It might all still become very different towards the end of 2021. There's still a lot to change, and I hope it will. I hope it'll all just be a phase. It was a good phase for now, until to the beginning of April. And I hope this phase isn't going to last long. I'm going to do my everything that it doesn't. But this is where I am right now. Very, very low. Realizing the deception is going to be enormous of these people that I expect from me. And my little brother, being successful in the school that he chose after his diploma last summer. Now being successful on a good way. Truthful, honest about where he's being right now. I'm going to be 30 until I get my first $800 a month salary. Let's not be too negative about it, but it's just how I feel right now. I'm going to show you what I tried doing today. So see, this is an art student that interned in the Project Taylor sale, which I wish I could. I wish so bad that I could somehow help out in this project. I do have to ask Sif at some point, but not now because I'm really bad. But look at that art, for example. See that? And this is probably a person in college, not far from my age, maybe 21 or 22, if not younger, you know. And look at the beauty of it. So inspired. So all I want to do is this first storyboard I kind of did for just a very simple animation of introvert smelling a flower, then surprised at something, at a sound from behind of someone approaching him, like the how's that called, the neck of a whatever branch someone was stepping on, the crack of a branch someone was stepping on, him looking up, a a second shot, and then, you know, surprised, but then, of course, looking gently towards the person that turns out to be his very important friend, White, and then turning to that White shot of exactly this scene. I'm gonna try not to copy it too much, obviously. I mean, I can't copy it anyways because this is way too good for me to ever come close. If I even try to just reproduce it and have this same, just beautiful, I kind of try and work with sound effects too, which I've, you know, learned from, as I said, past 2 weeks in this month of March, and you know, make this. I am kind of proud that I did a first time storyboard ever. This is like for something very simple also that I hope to accomplish in simple animation of smelling heads up, which will be probably turn out much more difficult, of course, but some reference pictures. I mean, this is sweet. It's a cat, you know. And I try to do a flower study just because the introvert smelling flowers. So I went out and I did some studies about that. These are some very old sketches, actually, like maybe half a year ago, if not longer. This was some kind of weird head. This was a castle. Pretty old, and a car I tried to do before learning any perspective. This is more recent. This is from yesterday. This is, you know, just something, and it doesn't resemble like much. I'm sorry, but these are supposed to be these spring flowers that are outside in our garden right now, and I tried to sketch them. So yeah, it's about. I tried my best. Not very good, I know. Not very good. This is the problem. But so, I don't know, man. And then I did do actually a scene. Like, I did do the first shot of flowers. I drew them, but the program crashed and it wasn't saved. So that ended my day. And yeah, it's a brilliant thing. It's great. There are ups and downs, I know. So I'm not going to be over dramatic over this. I'll probably just need a good night's sleep to muster up the courage all over again. And try and stay somewhat optimistic, but just to announce that sometimes you're smashed back into reality smashing you back in the face, and realizing I'm probably going to be kind of old until I really get to do this, whatever this could be in the future. I don't know. So if you did watch that, or any second of it, I definitely hope you'll watch other videos in the future which will be better. I'm sure. I hope not to do these complaints too often, too much. So hope that the future videos will be much more worthwhile your watch. And if you did watch this one though, of course I'm very glad. Thank you a lot. And I'll suggest that we see each other again sometime soon. And I will be talking to you about the first 4 months of this year 2021. Very crucial year. Has had a very bad downfall when it comes to the roller coaster ride of feelings, which is a very sophisticated way of saying I've been feeling very bad recently. While all the time before that, you know, in this whole year, in January, February, March, I'd say especially in March, I felt really rather good about things, good about my life, and that has taken a turn, has taken a toll on me, and it's part of the video. First of all, the motivation or reason to do it, it's now April 2021, which means after this month, it's going to have been 4 months of 2021, and that means it's 1/3 of the year. You mean, because after April comes 4 more months until August, and then from August on, another set of 4 months until December. So it's going to have been 1/3 of this first year. And I'm going to track my progress, and I'm going to talk, and I'll reflect back on this year. And then I have some more considerations and some more thoughts and important things about my whole life in general. I just realized today and yesterday, which were crucial days because I felt, as I said, not good, and I had new thoughts. and shocking. Not, it's a hard time for me. Realizing where I am in my life. Not just now in 2021, where I'd say it's kind of okay. I didn't do too bad in these first 3 months. Now with April, hoping that it will take a good push, take a good boost to round up the first third of this year rather well. I'm going to talk now about 2021, the first 3 months so far, and I'm going to show you what I was up to, just, conclude, give a summary of what has happened in these last months. I mean, it started off with this vlog project. I mean, in the vlog project, you can see the progress, just beginning with the first video where I, without any plan, just held up my Canon M50 to my face and started talking, in not even aware of how light changes everything and the sound and all that, without any knowledge of anything that I know now, obviously, because, that was in the past. And so, you can see, compared that result right here. I mean, my head is still cut off terribly. I do have framing issues, but that is hopefully improved in the future. I couldn't improve it too well that time, but I mean, we'll make with it. There is always room for improvement. Compare my vlog project in how it was in January, and then I will show you, just privately or just very precisely what I've done, which was mostly YouTube. I mean, I've shown you the drawings I did. It's not the focus. I will show you the videos I watched that taught me. Just for me to summarize what I surrounded my brain with, what I filled my brain with is better. I've got my Canon M50 right here on the side. I'm going to turn it on. You can see my laptop now. You can see me, and I'm going to show you the videos, my playlist of videos I liked on YouTube, which, I mean, the first one, as you can see, of course, is a meme sort of thing, where when you don't know about that video, I highly recommend watching it. Yeah, it's also important to like these videos, right? But then, most recently today, because it was a bad day, I just lied in bed for a few hours watching videos, and I realized also today that I shouldn't feel lazy doing so, because it's actually very important. It's actually where I make most progress, and it frustrates me because I'm the type to do practical work, and I feel lazy watching anything, even if it's tutorials, which I shouldn't, clearly, because it is what expands my horizon the most, and it is what actually, made me not improve in my last years of life, because I refused to watch YouTube videos and learned all by myself alone. That's a problem. But it's a point I'm going to come back to later. So I watch videos and I try not to feel lazy about it. Because I learned about light again, just rehearsing pretty much what it meant. And then also I'm coming back to animation very slowly but surely. It's important I do. Learning, I don't know what 1s or 2s or 3s mean. Now I do, because I watched that video. Composition and storytelling, which isn't, again, animation focused, but very important to know in general in filmmaking, which will then transfer into my animation skills, which is what I hope. 3 brilliant moments of blocking. I've learned about blocking. Usually in film sets, it's what you have to consider too. How are the actors moving? That's what's called blocking. Part of the composition, part of the flow, part of where do you want people to be, where do you want the attention, people's attention to be, where exactly on the frame, where do you want to lead them? So complex, it gets really difficult. So, and fascinating. I made a movie, It Stunk, by Austin McConnell. Very, very interesting how he did pull off a feature film, and how it was, took 1 year of his life, 18 hours of work a day. The fine arts of blocking, composition, stages and blocks a scene, animating again, and then of course some Top Gear in the middle with Gus Johnson also. Yeah. Capture One, photography. Capture One, Gerald Undone, that rhymes, I love Gerald Undone. And here is audio. That was in March. Audio, learning about the Zoom that I still don't hold in my hands, that I still don't have it in my room. My friend has it at his home.
hits missed top stories because of Amazon, but I hope to have it soon. Sound. This is where I learned about sound. This was in March. More about micro four thirds, learning about that, sensor sizes, all that, the whole topic it's a big one. Yeah, and some more short films. This is where I was searching for the EOS M6 Mark II before buying it. Wandering DP, I learned what a DP is and what he does, EOS R, which is the camera I was interested in before the M6, and I'm very glad I did not buy the EOS R. At least I think I'm glad. I can be glad. Philip Bloom, wonderful person. Lighting was before sound. Godox, UL 150. All this setup that led to this result right here is what I did in February, pretty much. Learning about lighting. One animation of an online friend of mine, which I only recommend checking out, so a PO. A person I'm very glad to know because they are in the animation field already in the school, about an animation school, and it's like I wish to be there too. So that stuff, and this is where I started on this YouTube account, just with more camera general videos. I just can't, leave this school right here and let everybody down and then expect them to be paying for me when I need the money as I take the internships to get into animation school. And as I do all that, I will not have the time to have me a portfolio good enough to compete with the others. So I kind of realized my chances are very low. I was low on, I'm always naive. I've always been, and I keep on being naive. But there is this one thing that remains, which is, I know I wasn't made for that degree I chased. I know I wasn't made for that. The problem is, what was I made for then? Well, art. But yeah, that is the problem. Art is the problem. Art is the problem. I just scrubbing and scrolling through all these trades you can learn today, which is what this video is about, because I've been taking a good detailed look on trades, which I've never done before. Do you imagine? Before I had to go to university, shortly before finishing my high school diploma, I had a research universities. That's when I started. A few months before I would get my high school diploma, a complete miss. And this is where I got seriously depressed for the first time, and I'm back at that point of existential crisis. It's not that much existential crisis. It's just more like simply very scared of the future and feeling like I don't belong anywhere and I don't have anywhere to go and my dreams are so far away, even though I do at least know by now what my dreams are. Now I do want to go into this animation field, or in the art field, and do art projects. But to get there, it's going to take such a longer journey than I imagined, because I realized I do need a base, a safe base, to refer back to whenever animation comes second. If at some point in a crisis I need money, or I do have a possible family or girlfriend to sustain, who knows, whatever situation you might be in, I just think now that I'm young and that I can go learn a trade, because learning a trade once you're over 30 is going to be very unlikely to happen, and also very uncomfortable because you're going to be surrounded of these young people. What I imagine, at least, right? Which simply means I have to sacrifice 2 to 3 years of my young life to working and getting, learning a trade, so I can always refer back to that whenever I need to. Whenever I need, I'll have something. I can go back to work. I can go back, make money. It could be extremely helpful to my animation career and my existence altogether. If ever you run into trouble or something like that, it's simply necessary, and it'll give me some additional time before I need to actually decide on which animation institute I want to go into, because I think I do prefer, of the two I know about, I do prefer the animation workshop over in Denmark, and I'm just not ready yet to actually believe I could go there. And then even if I was accepted into that school, um, all the changes I would have to make, living there and somehow, as I said before, not having enough money. So what can I do? And then, you know, won't be possible. It was just too much of a light-hearted decision I took, leaving university, which I still did not officially do. But I mean, to me, it's official, pretty much. Guys. Yeah. Let's. Can't I? Maybe just do that so I don't have to hold the camera all the time, because this is now pretty much a talking hat video. Oh, I'm not prepared. Dang it. I'm sorry about that. But, because I need to rest my arm. So, I'll have to go learn a trade. And, now what trade should it be? And hopefully it won't crush me and I will be able to push through it. I don't know if I can, and I don't know what I'm setting myself up for again. But in theory, it sounds smart. And I know the degree would have been... I should have completed that degree just for the same reason. I wasn't aware of that, actually. I didn't consider it. So it's kind of dumb that um, I dropped off college, that I dropped out of college now when I would technically only need one more year to finish my degree. But, I mean, I've been lagging so much behind. I would have needed 4 years, first of all, at least. Plus, um, I would have suffered a whole lot. Like, the stuff you needed to learn as soon as stuff you needed to learn in second semester actually appalled me when I had a first look at it. When I first realized what I would have to learn again and study. When I saw these materials, I was like, no way. No way I'll have to do all these things from first year again, but more in depth and at the same time more tedious and strenuous and boring and ugly. Never again. Thank you very much. I'm not I'm not I'm not the study type. I'm actually the practical guy. I want to do things with my hands, not with my head right here. I mean, I need my head too. Animation is kind of both. But I just realized I'm more of the doing kind of type. And sitting there learning and reading books all day and doing the study thing did not appeal to me enough. I couldn't push through. I'm sure with that. I'm done with that degree. The only problem is I don't know how to continue, because I cannot go to animation just yet. One thing I'm pretty sure of is that animation can wait, because you don't have to be specifically young to start it, and I think there is many people actually who get into animation late in their life, which means I mean people after 25 and higher, obviously. Maybe even many people beginning at 30. And just looking at it at the whole lifespan, these 2 or 3 years sacrificed to get a trade that can pay me something in the meantime, even though it's not a high pay. But even so, if you consider I work 2 or 3 years, I would make like 10,000 or 20,000 bucks or so in these 3 years, with some additional gains from my parents or something. I could be able to actually finance private schools even, so that if everything else sucked, the animation school, and not the animation schools that are hard to get into because they aren't private and they don't cost you that much money. If even then in the future I wouldn't be able to integrate them, I could theoretically spend the money, which I hope I wouldn't have spent on anything else by then. I could spend the money on a private school and hopefully be accepted there and get a degree this way in animation. I mean, it's not about the degree, it's about having a space where you can learn, having your peers, having communication happening, and networking, all that. I mean, this is what you pay for. This is why I'm not ready to pay theoretically, I'm not ready to pay um, for an animation school that costs me 30,000 when it's only about the networking mostly and the learning spaces. While YouTube is free, but like you do need the surroundings, the proper ones. So if ever I'm able to push through learning a trade, I would have some money on the side to maybe consider, as I said, actually financing a private school too. By that, enlarging the possibilities of schools to go into, the number of schools I could integrate, you know, multiplying that factor by 10. If I have now 3 or 4 schools I'm interested in, that number will be, you know, 30 schools, simply because all the rest is private. So, yeah. All that to say, I have this went on differently than I expected, and I think it's actually making me feel encouraged, even though I could be steering straight towards hell by trying to learn a trade, because that's going to be real work to do, and especially the biggest problem is it's going to take up a lot of time, 40 hours per week. You know, so that's why I'm recording the video. This is me right now, kind of torn apart between all the things, and still haven't told anyone anything, and I'm probably running into some big trouble with my friend, who might be hating me now for a while, which is great. Feels wonderful. Ah, terrible day today. But now researching about these trades, getting to know these, and feeling like I could stand a second chance feels good, and especially that I am actually working on something meaningful to society, because if I worked in a grocery store or a supermarket or something, that's what I imagine. Um, Everybody needs that. Everybody needs that work to be done, and it pays me. So I get actually paid. I could have my own life. I could, even though I will definitely prefer staying at my parents' or my grandparents, and saving the money. I mean, that's what it's about. Stuff like that. So, if I do want to start a trade, I will need to tell my parents as soon as possible. And I will tell my parents first, I think, because my grandparents, I mean, ultimately it's my parents who are in charge of me. So, better let them down first, because the way they react is more vital to my life, let's say. It's more decisive on my life, and I'll have to tell them I'm gonna apply to learning a trade. Possibly. Theoretically, because in theory it sounds like a good idea. Which means, in terms of drawing, now that I've understood how to learn drawing, and that I've done it wrong in the last years, I can do that in my free time and on weekends and in vacation. Will be that life where you try to juggle these two things, and I'll have to continue renouncing on social life and social activities, getting a girlfriend, and so I hope I can keep that down, that desire, so I can have more time to watch YouTube videos. I also recognize that it's simply very important, you know, obviously not the entertaining YouTube videos, but these wonderful professionals out here who do this wonderful content. These are the guys I'm learning most from. And study art books. Art books are also, along with the YouTube videos, the right ones, are the best way to progress. Even better than art school, not to mention the price you pay, which is zero. So, you know, keep doing that while having a full-time job. This might be an interesting time in my life. I just have to tell myself that. For now, unlike the degree, at least I'm getting paid, and I could sustain my own life. Or either, I could sustain my own life, or save up for a private school education after that. And then in the future, of my life, you know, kind of secure the future of my life as well by doing so, because I'll have learned a trade which I could always come back to when needed, which is probably the case, you know. There's a time I do just need money or something, or I don't have any projects on animation to work on. Probable. I don't know. Things like these. So yeah. Just gonna show you the windows that I have opened here on Firefox. Brother Bear recap cartoon, super funny, makes me so emotional. I love Brother Bear. Is exactly the kind of project I want to have worked on. Be it a one-man film, which obviously will not look like that, as good as these ones. This movie is so special to me. It's exactly the kind of movie I want to have done in my life. At least one. That is my life goal. I have a life goal. I have some sort of mission. And it's one more. Just one. At least one. If I can do more, I'll be very happy. But I will not be happy in my life if I'm about to die, imagining that. On my deathbed, I will not be happy about life if I haven't done one of these movies. Animals talking. I love that. I love when animals talk in general. It's not just cats. I mean, these are bears, for that matter. You know, even when they're bears, I still love this movie with my whole heart. And you know, even with these goos, I mean, they aren't goos. They are goos or something else. I don't know what they're called. But like, you know, this movie is fantastic. And I wish to work on something like that. 2D animated, maybe 3D too, but I definitely prefer 2D. Make this, you know, revive a good time before 3D technology would take over animation, which isn't bad, but it's not the same. And I want to contribute to the indie niche part of this wonderful scene that existed once in animation, Disney. Yeah, about someone who talks about his experiences in exactly that. Yeah, Aaron Blaze made me so emotional when I saw how much he has aged by now. Oh, I haven't seen him in a while. Brother Bear, Brother Bear, Brother Bear. Watch some Soul. That's what I mean. Soul is like, the movie has a soul, let's say, but it's not the same soul as that 2D animated Brother Bear. If you ask me, I definitely prefer Brother Bear. So especially for children. So that's what I hope for my life. Oh. I am actually worrying that if I was learning a trade and it was not here around my grandparents' place, and I would need to leave their place, well, I have to leave the cat as well. And I don't want that, man. Not that. He's seriously one reason for me to try and find a job near this house so I can stay with them. Is that, you know, my life is taking different turns. I'm glad it does take any turns. I did wish a few times that I had simply not stopped my degree. But it was bound to fail anyways. And that's okay, I think. I thought many times that it's a real disaster. But right now, kind of feel confident that that change is needed. And this time right now is crucial, depending on the decision I will take next. It could reveal itself as a good turning point right now here in my life, the decision I've taken to end my studies, or it could have been a terrible turning point, which I don't think it will be. I still have a crisis ahead of me, though, needing to tell my parents and my grandparents about it. But I feel it's coming close, and even though I originally wanted to tell them once the exams are supposed to happen in June or July or something, I don't even know when they are. I feel I want to do it now in April because lying is terrible and I don't want to continue. And I need to apply for these trades if I want to try and get to work this summer, actually. So I'll need to tell them very, very soon, actually. So, hmm. You know, just need some more time to dive more into the trades to learn, know everything about them, and then at some point we'll have to do it. Come out of the closet, but not in this sexual orientation way, but in the career way. It's real, guys, it's happening. Will I be happy to work full time? Can I do that for 3 years? Can I sustain myself? My mental health doing that feels. I've never allowed myself to take on these full-time working positions. I thought studying would be less time consuming than a full 40-hour work week job. That's mainly why I wanted to chase a degree. So I would supposedly have more free time, which is what I believed in. Right, okay. Thank you very much for listening as always, dear camera. And if there is one viewer in case, then I thank you 5 times more. And if it's myself watching that 5 years later, then I have no idea what I should say, but just don't forget about animation. I hope that if ever you do the working thing, do it so you have learned that trade, you've had some money, and go back to animation. Never lose it. I don't think I will. I didn't lose it in that degree now. Came back. I think this is what I'm going to do that too. I think this is what I'm going to do now as well. It's a good idea. Thanks everyone for watching. Let's see you again sometime soon. Alright everybody, it's as usual, I don't know what time it is and what. I'm filming this in a dire need to film it. Okay. I was just out here in my room taking photos of myself before and going to my computer to edit them, and then kinda ended up watching How to Train Your Dragon again, the movie, which I've already watched once, and it was a period where I rewatched it several times because just the movie is wonderful, right? And then after that period, which was like 1 year ago or two, and I was a student, a business student, in the midst of it, and still dreaming of movies and all that, so I would watch How to Train Your Dragon when I was supposed to study and get all emotional about it, and then suppress these emotions and go back to work. Now I stumbled across that movie again and watched it again without intending to, and I am understanding it completely differently. I have such a different view now on that movie, not just that movie, but generally movies. But it's now that I realize what difference I have now on movies watching one I had seen 1 year ago and rewatching it now. And the emotions stay the same. I mean, not really, but generally speaking, the emotions stay the same. I'm still emotional. But that movie is so accurate on my own life. It, it's uncanny. It's uncanny. That thing speaks deeply from my heart or my soul or whatever you call it. Speaks my mind. Like, okay, I chose. I haven't watched it completely through it now yet, but this is the scene, and if you haven't watched the movie and you still want to know about it, then of course you can't watch that part now, but I guess everybody has watched it because that movie is like at least 10 years old, if not more. This is the scene where Hiccup had to kill the dragon in the ring, but didn't. He didn't. He was pretending to be a dragon killer while becoming friends with Toothless, right? With this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful character. Toothless. So he hid that away from his whole family and the whole Viking members, and he had this big secret and wasn't ready to tell them about it until Toothless had to come save him because he was being so loyal by now to Toothless that he would hear him shout after he was attacked by that dragon, right? I mean, the whole scene just goes out of control, really. I mean, that you know it. You know the scene. You know the scene. It's a disaster. It's the lowest point. And none of the Vikings knew about all this secret that actually, I mean, for me to get to the point, this is exactly how I feel. This is exactly my life. What he says here is exactly what the situation I'm in, and this is uncanny. It's just,
The others. I should have known. I should have seen the signs.
Dad?
We had a deal.
I know we did, but that was before I... it's all so messed up.
this is exactly my life. Like, we had a deal, is like, my parents and my grandparents about the whole studies, right? The degree. And then he got not even able to kind of explain that. At this point, he changed, something changed. That was until, and then, oh, it's so messed up. This is exactly me. This is 100% my life and kind of the future. I mean, it won't be with Vikings and dragons and all that, but the core is exactly the same. Of me not daring to tell the truth and still hiding out. Because of COVID, I can just so easily pretend that I was doing my classes since they all happen online. I don't have to go places. I don't have to go in the morning, wake up, all that, How can, if I don't tell them anything, how can they know I'm actually following? They trust me by now because it's been 1 year and it's now the third year or something of my studies. They trust me that I'm doing them correctly. I'm not anymore because, it changed and all that. Like Hiccup, and he found himself in the ring now, went to the very extreme, and before he had to go to the ring, Astrid reminded him, what are you gonna do? You're friends with that dragon now, and you have to kill one tomorrow. And even at that point, Hiccup was still completely clueless and let it come, and let it happen as it had to happen. I mean, I can show you that scene too. It's exactly me. Like, give me some time. Even the night before, here he is showing Astrid all of it, and then at the end.
Okay. Then what do we do?
Just give me until tomorrow. I'll figure something out.
Okay.
He didn't figure anything out, Okay, this is just... I'm recording this simply because, I feel so personally attacked, actually. This is exactly my life. So, yeah. I don't know. Just something I noticed. And also I have a whole different view on that movie now. I didn't watch a movie I watched 1 year ago, and now rewatch it. With all the things I've learned since January, since I stopped the business degree, with all the development I've had in these past few months, 3 months now, learning about the filmmaking basics, about shots, about camera, about technical stuff, about perspective, now when it comes to drawing, I've seen the movie in a completely new way, and I found things about it I never even imagined before. To give you an example, okay, now I have a blackout, but to give you an example. I mean, this is life related. Again, this is another example.
He taught me what a Viking could do, Gobber. He could crush mountains, level forests, tame seas. Even as a boy, I knew what I was, what I had to become. Hiccup is not that boy.
I am Hiccup. You know, I feel just the same way. How everybody knows what they have to become, or at least they feel kind of good where they are, or they have this interest where they're supported, you know. And I'm not that guy. I mean, I know by now who I am, kinda. Not exactly yet. I don't feel I'm 100% a technical, real, drawing, productive artist. I'm probably more like a director or something. Something I will need, you know, to make my own niche for. That is another topic, how I feel about myself these recent times. Changed too. But this basic notion, how I'm not that guy. I'm Hiccup, you know, this is basically me too. Like, I just so relate to it. As I said, it's, wow, really impressive. And then what they say next.
You can't stop him, Stoic. You can only prepare him.
That makes me so hopeful.
I know it seems hopeless, but the truth is,
Well, I mean, don't mind me saying hopeful.
you won't always be around to protect him. He's going to get out there again. He's probably out there now.
Yeah, which is, you know, if I did business, continue that, I would probably stop it at some point at 30, and then the crisis would be much bigger. Oh, that's it already, okay. You know, why is this so accurate? It's uncanny. It's uncanny. And, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's not like I have any wise interpretations to tell you now and then help improve your own life through my intelligent conclusions. But so now I'm watching these movies and noticing how shots tie together, how the story ties together, how everything has been worked up to get to certain points and stations, how everything works out and how the shots are put together, and perspective and composition. I've never, as a business student, when I was in my mind still trying to fit in as a business student, I didn't notice any of these. I didn't learn about them in the first place, but then also I didn't even try, really. I knew some little bits of composition and all that, but the way I'm viewing this movie now just doesn't have anything to do with in the past. Not at all. And this is so weird. It's like much more as if, you know, this is what you are supposed to do. Also. This is what you're supposed to do. This is your domain. And, you know, I'm just understanding the more technical parts of the movie much more, because the reason I was watching the movies when I was a business student was to get away from business and get back to what I love, which I felt I loved, you know, the whole art and story aspect of the movie industry. I only wanted to go back there to feel comfort. And so I didn't look at technical aspects of things and try to analyze movies, but I simply wanted to get the emotions out of the movie and feel better about myself before I had to go back to business. Literally. Literally, you know. So I just didn't have even the emotional or the mental space to go into the nitty gritty of the movie and really watch it from an artist perspective. I was a burned out, like from the day burned out business student, just wanting to get straight to these emotional scenes so I could just, have this relief. It's kind of a deep realization, affirming to me that, this is for me the way to go. I've taken the good decision. The problem is, I'm still at the point, just like Hiccup, where that friendship is building up. I don't have a friendship with a dragon, but this friendship with my true self, just knowing that I am not a business guy and I'm an artist guy, unfortunately, that's why I don't love myself. But I am trying to build up a friendship with the artist side of inside myself, which I pushed away for so long. I'm losing my what was it called? My flow. And I'm losing track. So, yeah, I completely lost it. I'm sorry. I'm now the business guy and not the business guy anymore, and I can't love myself simply because I'm struggling so much being the artist guy and not feeling like I even deserve any support. And that's why, as a life update, I'm probably not taking any time out to learn art, but have to follow a trade. Probably have to learn a trade, work full time for some years, so I can support myself and won't have to rely on others. Simply because I can't, I feel like I can't. And so I'm still at that point where, I'll have to step into the ring and then have everybody around me simply because I delayed that moment so much. The stakes got higher and higher until it clashes and explodes. And I'm building up just the same tension, and it will come eventually. And I'm trying to soothe that tension by finding out a trade to learn and apply to, a company to apply to, before I'll need to tell them that I stopped my studies and saying, like, by the way, I'm starting to work this summer, so you don't have to worry about me. And then hopefully, in the sense of the film, not have Toothless be halfway killed. Which translates to me like that. Won't have to get kicked out of the house because I disappointed so much, which is my genuine fear. So just so much about that. The movie it's probably a theme that the creators themselves know about, so I'm not the only one. It comes from somewhere that they decided to make Hiccup who he is and decide to build this story, which happens to be mine. Take the dragons away and it's my story. So, it's weird, and it's just a movie after all, but yeah, at the same time it's so much more. And I don't know, man, this is it. Yeah, so thanks for watching. I will continue being emotional, finish watching the movie after what happened with the ring, and maybe be back at some point. But if you did watch that, then thank you, of course, as always, and see you again sometime soon.